So we're back, and this week we went to the theaters to see a movie. Which is unusual. We had to go quite a ways because it's...
in an odd time and an odd day.
Yes. We had to drive probably like 40 minutes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm Tyler.
I'm Shay.
This is Cinematically Correct. I wanted to start off this because this is the first movie we've done in theaters in a while. There's actual trailers that we can talk about.
Not in a while. We did it in theaters last month.
Well, all right. It's been several podcast episodes since that point. I want to establish a new segment for the current movies where we talk about the trailers.
Okay. Previews.
Previews.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, thank you.
I got it in there and everything.
First was, Maleficent, or...
Maleficent.
Yes, the second one, their sequel.
That you didn't know there was an original of.
I did not. I thought it was reimagining a Sleeping Beauty when I saw the original part of it.
Well, I mean, it is.
Well, it is, but I thought it was just like the live action. You know, Disney is doing all the live actions of...
But it is. It's just the evil take of it. For Halloween one year, I DIY'd how to be Maleficent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's apparently like a way to make her headdress with like cardboard and stuff. It was way too hard. I didn't do it.
That sounds way too much effort.
Yeah, but I mean, it would look cool. I'm just not a DIYer.
Mm. So that was the first trailer. Mm-hmm. What do you think of it? I thought it was an odd choice.
I mean, I liked the first movie, so I'm down.
I'd never seen the first movie, so...
Adding to the list? Oh. That list is going to be longer than any list I've ever created, which is a feat, I tell you.
Well, I just found it really odd that Disney was advertising during this movie.
I did too. I think I wrote that down. I said advertising a kid's movie before Child's Play feels a bit weird.
I mean, now that it's Maleficent and it's an evil child's movie.
Right.
Which is, how is that a thing? But not the point. It makes a little bit more sense.
Given that the Toy Story campaign happened, I mean, I feel like the kids' movie thing...
Spectacularly done by Child's Play.
Yeah. So I think Toy Story did it too. So if you guys haven't seen... When this movie first came out, Toy Story was coming out right around the same time. I believe like the 23rd or 24th, somewhere around in June. They were both coming out at the same time. They both had kids named Andy in it. So they were doing these posters where like Chucky was killing like Buzz Lightyear, Woody, I think there was the Slinky Dog, Mr. Potato Head. Yeah. It was just creepy and weird, but like perfect marketing. Like that was A++. So I mean, if they're willing to do that, then advertising before a kid's movie, I mean, I feel like that's just par for the course. You know what I'm saying? That's
probably something that they worked out with Disney so they could use the pieces.
Well, they had to have.
Otherwise Disney would have sued them.
I'm pretty sure that they did it back and forth. I just didn't see the Disney side of it, but I'm sure they did. Yeah.
Moving on. Next preview would be It 2. Or It Chapter 2.
Which, yes, because of our personal history with
the
original It remake. If y'all need us to do that to hear a nice personal story that Tyler doesn't want anyone to know.
No personal stories, please.
Then just spam tweet at us. At Cinematically See, just keep spam tweeting us and we will do it. And, yes, next one.
I will abstain out of spite. Next was Crawl, which I've seen this trailer so many times at this point.
Yeah.
And I have no interest in seeing this movie.
I have to say, I think it came out, so we're pre-recording, so time might seem odd when we're talking about things, but I believe Crawl came out this past weekend, and all of the film groups I'm in love the movie.
Really?
Like, are raving about it. Obviously, I have not seen it, but...
It's like a Florida Anaconda, or Congo, or any lake... It's just a movie where animals eat people.
Okay, maybe some people are down for that.
I guess. Is it the next Sharknado?
I have not seen Sharknado.
Me neither.
So I'm totally down for seeing that too, though. So guys, tweet at us. We need to know what you want to see.
So I just have no interest in this movie at all.
I'm curious about it, but, next current movie is yours, so I have no say.
All right. Next was Good Boys.
Yeah, it's the child movie that is basically inspired by Superbad.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
It's just that same irreverent kind of off humor.
Yeah, but I didn't know that you could have kids acting out that kind of content. I didn't know that was okay.
Well, you can have kids in horror movies.
Yeah, but don't they usually keep them into specific scenes so they don't get involved in the bad stuff? That's what I thought it was.
Probably. I mean, you have to be careful about how you shoot certain things, obviously.
It didn't seem like this movie was careful, that's all I'm saying.
Next was your favorite trailer.
Yes, I am in for this. Please make Tyler pick this movie for our next current movie. Please. It is called Ready or Not. And it's basically about a couple who just gets married, and in order for the girl to be accepted into the man's family, they obviously have money or something.
They're like a old school money type family where they have like several companies that they run, and it's a huge...
Right. So in order for her to be accepted, she needs to play basically a game of, air quotes, hide and seek. And basically what it means is she hides while the entire family tries to kill her. It looks fantastic. I am in.
Margot Robbie.
Yes. So if anybody can convince Tyler, please, I beg of you. Please. Anyways.
All right. I think that was also my favorite trailer as it happened. Then there was the last one, which is terrible.
Bad Trip.
Bad Trip.
Yeah.
It was just looked so bad.
It looked like a bad trip.
It looked astoundingly bad. Just, you're way too happy with yourself on that. That is no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you any credit for that. No.
Anyway, so we've done 6 minutes on trailers. That's not about the movie. Good for us.
All right, so this is your choice.
Yes,
for current
my
movie.
choice. So we did Child's Play, the new one.
Yes.
2019.
Well, we've also done the old one.
We have done the old one, so if you guys want to know how we feel about the OG, I'm sure we'll probably sprinkle in comments here and there, but we did the podcast, so go back to last October. That's about when we did it, approximately.
I think that, yeah, it was Halloween-ish.
Yeah, it was definitely one of our Halloween movies. So I chose this one for a lot of reasons.
Why?
Well, one...
What reasons could you
Well, one, because I wanted to do at least one where we did the original and we're doing the remake. Like, I really wanted to do that.
You couldn't have picked a different...
remake? Also, it was just, there was not much out for June.
That is entirely fair.
There was nothing I was super like, yes, please, I need to see it. Like, let's go. Toy Story I did want to see, but not like, I don't know. I wasn't like clamoring for it. So, I figured it would make a good podcast, and I love horror movies.
I mean, that's fair. I do enjoy horror movies, but I don't know. This one didn't necessarily land for me. But
see, you always tell me not to give opinions until the ratings part, and then we go, giving opinions.
I'm not giving it a rating. I did not give a numerical value to this movie.
Okay, anyway, so we go into brief synopsis?
Yeah, brief synopsis.
Brief synopsis.
It's a remake of the original Child's Play. With a few changes.
It's a reimagining.
Uh-huh. So it's a murderous doll that kills people. Movie. And done.
No. So it's the difference between the original and the remake is that the original movie is a serial killer who possesses a doll and kills people. Through voodoo, yes. And then this one is a doll who is an AI creature, and his safeguards have been turned off, and he is taught to become murderous, basically.
Right.
So, it's different, for sure, which I appreciate.
It is different. It just, they changed that, and they changed a couple other things. They changed Chucky's appearance in this movie.
They do. I did make a note on that. You're going a little bit far in, but I said...
Well, it's the first thing you notice when you see the doll, which is like the first scene of the movie.
It's not the first scene in the movie. Yeah. First scene in the movie is in a sweatshop. Just saying. Just saying. But yeah, I wrote something like, no, I don't like his face. His face is all wrong. That was my initial impression. I have to say, he did grow on me as it went along.
It was an interesting take on the changing over from the campy original voodoo, because they didn't have AI back then.
Really?
Yeah.
I believe that they did. Just not to this extent, because I'm pretty sure I looked up when AI was started, and it was before 88.
Regardless, it was not anywhere close to the technological advances we have currently.
Fair.
So I want to talk about the opening scene for a moment, where they're making it in a Vietnam sweatshop, apparently. Mm-hmm. And he takes out all the safety protocols. I really didn't understand how many there were to take out of don't kill people.
Right, and I think, first of all, he takes off all the safety protocols because he's getting fired, right?
Yes.
So I wrote down, because apparently I am strange, After I wrote down not my Chucky, so, hashtag that.
You're not alone in that. A lot of people have that hashtag floating around, supposedly for no discernible reason. I don't think it was that bad of a Chucky.
I grew on me, but at that time, in my notes, it says not my Chucky. So then I wrote sweatshop. Don't piss off the people who program your toys, just like you don't piss off the people who handle your food. So...
Oh, yeah, there are several people that you don't make enemies of. People that program your computer, people that handle your food.
People that basically do things for you.
That you can't do yourself.
Right, I would recommend not pissing them off.
Yes.
That's just like life rules.
Well, really, treat everyone well. I mean, treat everyone with respect.
But if you're going to treat somebody badly, make sure it's not someone that's impacting your life. That's all I'm saying.
That's a little bit horrible. No, okay.
I'm giving valid life advice. So, anyway.
And then he jumps off the building.
Yeah, which I totally missed. I obviously was writing my nice little notes here.
You're writing Not My Chucky.
I was probably writing Not My Chucky. You're right. I probably was.
So he jumped off the roof, and landed on a car, which is a nice throwback to the original, which we didn't find out until researching, because we didn't remember. Or I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't remember it either. I didn't know what happened, so here we are.
So in the original, the first murder in the movie is the woman getting thrown out of the apartment and landing on a car.
With a mini hammer, I believe.
Toy hammer, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then in this movie, he jumps off the roof and kills himself, which does happen in sweatshops in Asia, apparently.
Great. This is good. And if you saw my next note, you would realize that we should not be talking about the things we want to talk about. So.
All right, what's your next note?
I can't say that. That's just not... I can't.
I don't know what that says.
It says basically... Somebody making a complaint about a ginger seems a bit off. There's a word there, but I'm not...
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I gotta ask you, because this movie came out in 1988, and
Yeah.
I know the meme Gingers Don't Have Souls came out from South Park.
Gingers have souls.
They don't.
You don't know me. You're not God.
Stop it. But do you think that South Park pulled from Chucky in that whole that don't have souls?
Well, I mean, but the original Chucky did in fact have a soul because he was possessed by a human. So.
But he didn't have a soul because he was
The devil?
transplanted with a soul by another person that didn't have red hair.
This feels like a lot and my head hurts.
Okay.
So, I don't know. So, if anybody knows the origin of gingers not having souls.
It's South Park is where it comes from originally, to my knowledge. But
or maybe they just don't. I mean, also in fairness, guys that have red hair right now. So.
But it's not ginger.
It's not ginger. You're right.
So, characters, I guess? I don't know. The plot is basically the plot of any Chucky movie ever where he kills a bunch of people.
Yeah, so, I mean, we can go through, like, the people because there's been some controversy.
Okay. Controversy. I like controversy.
Just a little. First of all, Aubrey Plaza.
Yes.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, liked her playing the mom. And I feel like people had opinions before the movie even came out about her playing the mom.
I mean, I can understand not seeing her as a maternal figure.
So I only recognize her from
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, yep, that's what it is. And I have not seen much of it, but she always plays the same person.
She's the sarcastic, emotionless person.
Right, which honestly played well in this movie.
It did. I think that she was set up to fail because the mom in the original is the mom from Seventh Heaven and very maternalish.
Seventh Heaven.
Well, so just...
What are you doing? You're making me sing all the theme songs today? What's going on?
Basically.
Okay.
Well, do you just think of her as a mom more by default?
But in fairness, Seventh Heaven came out after Chucky, so...
Okay, well, that's what she's most well known for, is what I'm saying.
Okay, fair.
And she just looks more like a mom than Aubrey Plaza.
But I thought she did well.
She did a good job. I mean, she didn't have the whole maternal thing because...
I think that was kind of the point, though.
Yeah.
She was with a scumbag,
Yeah, that had a separate family.
We didn't get there yet, but yes, she was with a horrible, cheating, whatever. So, good riddance is all I gotta say to that. Okay, so Mark Hamill voiced Chucky.
Yes, which is actually a good choice if you're not going to get the original Brad Dourif.
Right, and I mean, so I know that most people probably know, but when this remake was first being talked about, I think it was like 2008, Brad Dourif was going to voice the Chucky, And it was going to be done by the original creators and all of that,
Right.
but they decided against doing the remake because remakes were getting like a bad rap, I guess, because of like Nightmare on Elm Street and things like that. So they got rid of it. And then when this one was brought it to life, they asked if they could use the original creator's name, and he was like, no. Like,
I had nothing to do with it, so no.
right. He basically thought of it as like a slight. So I think it's a nice choice that they picked Mark Hamill based on like his past.
It's the best second option.
Right. But I mean, I wish that they had Brad Dourif. I also wish that in the original, Brad Dourif was like an actor for a little bit. You know, you get to see him as a person.
Right.
We don't ever get to see Mark Hamill. Like, they should have at least had him make a cameo just to like, you know, kind of like do a little callback to, you know what I'm saying?
But it was an artificial intelligence, not a possessed doll.
Yeah, but you could make Mark Hamill be a cameo just as Mark Hamill.
I think that would work. Like the Stan Lee in the Marvel.
Yeah, like he could have just been like somebody in the shop at the end of the movie when everyone's getting killed. He could have been like one of them running out. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's entirely fair. I think that is a missed opportunity.
Right?
Because, I mean, he's totally the type of guy that would do it.
right, exactly.
Absolutely.
Just saying. So,
I mean, for those you don't know, Mark Hamill is a very well-known voice actor on top of being Luke Skywalker.
right.
And he's most well-known in voice work for playing the Joker
Right.
for decades now.
Right.
Which is a good choice for voicing Chucky.
I agree with you.
All right.
So Gabriel Bateman is the person who plays Chucky. And before this movie, I didn't know that I'd seen him in anything else, but I had.
Plays Chucky.
I'm sorry, plays Andy.
My
My bad. But
Okay.
I had actually seen him in a previous movie called Lights Out. I don't know if you've seen it.
I don't think I have, actually.
But it's not bad. But other than that, like, I'm scrolling through his IMDb a bit. I don't recognize any of his other movies. But he seems to be, I mean, for considering he's probably, I would give him like 13. Okay, Tyler over here is pointing at Grey's Anatomy. Yes, I've probably seen his Grey's Anatomy episode, but I don't remember it. But given that he's like 13, it says he has 26 acting credits. That's a lot for a kid.
Well done.
Yeah.
I mean, I did kind of like the older choice in this movie rather than a 6-year-old. Even though a 6-year-old makes more sense to have a doll, in my opinion. I mean, it's if you're a teenager, you're going to want a video game console or a phone or...
Right, which they talked about. So, I mean, at one point in the movie, she was like begging him to go outside and be with the phone, like be without the phone, and he basically said like they could be serial killers, which I mean obviously is foreshadowing, but
right. I mean, who sends their child out into the middle of a city at night, at whatever age?
Aubrey Plaza.
Well, irresponsible.
I think she was supposed to play as an irresponsible mom.
Probably because she nailed that.
Yeah, well, she did. She got that in stone. Okay. Some of these people I don't really care about, but there's
the best character in this movie you haven't talked about at all.
I skipped over him because I wanted to get there. But then the only other one I really wanted to talk about, there is other people. I mean, Aubrey Plaza is with a guy.
He gets murdered brutally and
right.
Good riddance.
And there's a group of children and all of that, but none of them really have any story to them.
I mean, I do like his friends.
Yeah, and we will talk about them, but just as, like, the characters. But I did need to discuss, before we talked about my favorite guy, the guy who we got very confused for most of the movie.
The pseudo Jack Black.
Yeah, so, doppelganger. The janitor, Trent Redcop, he plays a janitor named Gabe. The beginning of the movie, I was certain it was Jack Black. I wrote it down, I underlined it, and I exclamated
Exclamation pointed
it. Anyways, I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, I didn't know he's in this movie. Like, oh my god. I was down. And then at the end of the movie, you find out that he is
very not a Jack Black role.
Yes, he plays a very creepy, I guess, psycho-esque role. One of many
voyeur, I would say, a peeping Tom.
Yes. So, I mean, throughout this movie, there are a lot of references to other movies, and I think this is one of them. However, the internet will not confirm this for me, so it's obviously just me. But we'll talk about all the references. I think
you're right. I think your references are better than the references we found.
Yeah, and we'll go through all of them, but one of them was this character. He is basically using cameras to watch women in the shower, undressing, all these things, and then masturbating to it. The minute I saw that, I said, oh, that's not Jack Black. There's no way Jack Black would do that. No. So I couldn't confirm it until I left the theater, but I was pretty sure once I saw that scene.
Yeah.
But literally his doppelganger. So
he does look a lot like Jack.
Does he play his backup like stunt double something? Because he should. He could get the big bucks doing that, I'm telling you.
Jack Black stunt double? Because Jack Black does a whole lot of stunts.
He can now. He's got a young guy who's his doppelganger. Let's go.
Okay.
So, Jack Black, if you're listening, we found your stunt guy. Call him up. That's all I'm saying.
All right, well... All right, now going back to the favorite character, please.
Oh, my favorite character. His name is Brian Tyree Henry. I have literally never seen him in another movie. If I have, I don't remember. But he plays Detective Mike Norris.
Yes.
What? I loved him from the moment I laid eyes on him. And what's funny is we didn't discuss it at all at first. We were both just listening to him talking to the kid in the hallway, inviting him to dinner, and I said something and you said, oh, those dad jokes though, he's got those dad jokes. I'm like, he needs to end up with her in the end, and we're both like, yes, 100%.
Well, it's just like, he had the great awkward one-liners that were not funny, although they were funny. He
was just adorable. Like, he just had obviously such a kind heart, and
that's the type of person you want to be a police officer in the real world.
Right. I just love everything about him. Also, I'm realizing we're at 21 minutes.
And all moms are scary.
I literally wrote that down. All moms are scary, by the way. Did he say that? Because I wrote that down.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Because I was like, wow, we wrote the same thing. Cool.
They just made this whole world creepier.
They did.
It was a Big Brother-esque, Amazon, Google, Apple, all have merged together and dominate the world as one company.
Yeah, so, I mean, the dolls were, in the first movie, the good guy dolls. And in this movie, they're buddy dolls with B-U-D-D with an I, like the Apple iPhone type situation.
Caslin Industries, which owns everything, apparently. Uber.
Right. And then the actual dolls that these were modeled after back in 1988 were My Buddy dolls. Right. So it's kind of funny because they're almost closer to the original name than they were back then.
Right.
Maybe because those dolls are no longer being made.
Probably. So they don't have to worry about being sued.
Right. But it seems like the doll got shorter.
I think that's fair.
Which I don't know how I feel about that, but it seems he got shorter. So it is what it is. Or it could be because Andy's taller now. I don't know.
I think it's probably a little bit of both, honestly.
That's fair. That's fair. But anyway, so because we talked far too long, which always happens. So basically what happens after this is the doll kills the cat.
Kills the cat. They throw the body down the trash chute.
Yeah, and he plays back the cat sounds, which is literally terrifying. So one thing I want to say about this movie is basically he is learning from Andy what makes Andy happy and what makes Andy upset. And then if he sees something that makes Andy upset, he basically wants to get rid of it. And I don't think that he understands conventions of like, oh, you can't just kill things, like that kind of thing. So when he killed the cat, he thought he was helping Andy because Andy was annoyed with the cat.
Right.
So then this behavior progresses.
Well, it's into the next person that dies, which is the shitty guy.
Stepfather.
Well, it wasn't a stepfather. He was just like the boyfriend.
The boyfriend. Who, bye-bye. So we learn... So first of all, he's
a terrible person. I wrote down, he's a big man picking on a kid. Like, how terrible is your life where you have to pick on a 13-year-old boy? Right. Like, come on.
Right. I mean, so at one point in the movie, Chucky is replaying Andy saying he's such an asshole, I believe.
Right.
And he pisses off the guy, and the guy slams the door and corners Andy in a room, and like is like, if you got something to say to me, say it to my face. And he was like basically squaring up to fight him, which it's a 13-year-old kid, dude. Like, back the heck off.
You're an adult. You can't fight a child.
Right. And then after that, Chucky is watching this whole thing, and Andy's obviously upset, and he like gets really angry and says like, I just wish he would go away, or something to that effect.
Yep.
And Chucky internalizes that to like, yes, okay, I got this. I'm gonna get rid of him. Which
in all fairness, I'm not even angry at Chucky.
I'm not even sad. I'm not even...
I mean, the legs, that hurt watching that.
Yeah, so they had him fall off a roof. The only thing I was questioning, so it was Christmas lights. I was wrapped around him, and then he was getting like crunched by like was it a lawnmower? No, it wasn't a lawnmower.
It was a rototiller where you like dig up the ground.
Yeah, so he was stuck in the lights, and the tiller was pulling the light, so he couldn't move.
He also had broken legs.
I'm just wondering... How did the lights stay on that whole time? Like, as the bulbs were breaking, how did the lights stay on? Because isn't there like a circuit? Like, wouldn't the circuit break as it's going into the tiller?
Well, Christmas lights are notorious for as soon as one goes out, they all stop.
But that's what I'm just curious because it stayed on.
Movie magic is the only answer because there's no way that any Christmas lights ever, if one of them goes out.
Because I was going to say that if it is possible, can you get me the brand? Is what I wanted to know. Because
it's not
I
possible.
always break one and then, I have to buy a whole new set. So if anyone knows, I mean, I'm in the market, is all I'm saying. That's what I was like.
It doesn't exist. There's no possible way that exists.
Okay, so Shark Tank aficionados, get on that. Okay? Just talk to the Chucky movie. You guys can figure it out.
Yep.
Thanks. Yep.
He was the first person to die in this movie, and it happened, weirdly late in the movie. Whereas, not...
Well, because Chucky had to learn to kill people. Oh, what we didn't mention is that at earlier point in the movie, Andy is with his friends that he has met outside from venturing outside, like his mom suggested, which they happen to be great kids. Good job, Andy. Bad job, Mom, because it could have been gang members. Just saying. Anyway, they're watching a movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And in the movie, obviously, if anyone's seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he's wearing the face of one of the people he killed in the movie. And Andy and all of his friends are laughing, and they're happy. And so Chucky is looking around the room and seeing face of dead people makes these people happy. So when they kill the stepdad, Chucky takes the face and puts it on a watermelon, which is also reminiscent of a Reddit meme, but I don't know if it's real or not real, where the woman prints out a face of a woman that her husband is cheating on her with, and then puts it on a watermelon in the fridge so that he opens the fridge to see that.
Bravo.
I mean, but also terrifying. Just saying. Yeah,
and there was not that many deaths in this movie, honestly.
No, so then the only other death was the cop's mother.
And the janitor.
Okay, but...
Well, yeah. The only person that I have a problem with dying is the cop's mom.
Because she was delightful.
Yes.
So she dies going to bingo. Chucky is mad at her because she says, you're my new best friend or something like that when they're having dinner.
Well, I think that's one of the things I didn't like about this movie because you don't have any real vested interest in the people that die.
Minus her.
So the rest of them, it's like, oh, okay.
Right. So the janitor dies because he's creepy.
And repaired the Chucky doll.
Right. And then at the end of the movie, Chucky basically decides that because they've tried to disarm him so many times, that he's going to kill everybody.
All humans, basically.
Basically kill all people. And his target is Andy. Right. He basically traps them all in a toy store and he starts killing people.
With drones, which is how Terminator starts.
Right. And in one of the parts, I thought the cop was going to die. And let me tell you, I was like, you know what? I'm not watching any more of these movies or any sequels. I'm out. It's not worth it. But don't worry. He doesn't die. So it's okay. And I am now on board again. So I just wanted to say
You're on board again?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, the whole movie, no person you actually care about dies.
This is true.
Except for the cop's mom.
This is true.
And then, the Chucky was almost similar to iRobot in terms of killing a bunch of people because it's learned that people are bad.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's very similar to that.
It's not even really a Chucky movie anymore. It's more like an iRobot or some other kind of Terminator killing all human movie. Right.
Now, do you think there's going to be sequels like there were with the original?
I mean, probably.
So the question is, if Chucky died, how would there be a sequel? There is a theory, so I'm curious.
Well, it's a software issue, so he could have passed malware onto another Chucky doll.
Okay, so that's your theory. Do you want to know what the theory on the internet is?
What is the theory on the internet?
So the theory on the internet is that the scene where he's killing all the people, right? Well, they prove that Chucky has the ability to access all Caslin products.
Yes.
Tap into them, right? So what they think happened is he started controlling other buddy dolls that looked like him, obviously, because they all looked like him, and basically sent him off to be a decoy to kill Andy because he knew that Andy would kill him. So he's actually, at the end of the movie, when they're showing the close-up of the box, he's in one of those boxes.
That actually works.
It does work. Yeah. I was like, good job, Reddit. I think it was Reddit. Although, I also went down a really weird rabbit hole this time, so not really sure it was Reddit. So
don't you always do that?
I mean, yes. So anyway, I mean, for me, that's most of what I want to talk about of the actual plot of the movie, but I do want to talk about all the references that I found.
Yes, you did find a lot of them. I didn't notice half of them. Or any of them, really. Good for you.
Well, so no, I didn't find a lot. But anyways, I don't actually know if all of this is meant to be accurate, so, take it all with a grain of salt. But we already told you the Psycho one. We told you Texas Chainsaw Massacre. All the kids, the group, there's a point in the movie where they're all, looking down at the street. and like the angle that they're looking at really reminds me of all the kids from It. It's all, they're only missing one person from the group because it's the one girl, it's the
bunch of guys,
but there's one character technically missing, so I don't know unless that was meant to be Chucky. I don't know. But anyway, there's also E.T. with the glowing finger. Yep. Cop Car is referencing RoboCop when he...
Dead or Alive.
Yes, when he says that. And then... I can't read the rest of my handwriting, so... Yeah. But anyway, so there's like 6 of them in there currently. I'm sure there are more if you guys see more. I love references. Like, that makes me like movies 10 times more. So... that is that. I do have stuff to talk about the director and about the soundtrack, but I don't know if you have anything you want to add before I talk about all those things.
Yeah. This is actually the second Chucky movie that came out in 2019.
Is it?
Yes. Another unrelated to the original, titled Charles, which is...
Charles Lee Ray.
Well, no, Charles is just the long version of Chucky.
Oh, okay.
So if your name is Charles, your nickname might be Chuck or Chucky.
Gotcha.
It actually didn't look good. I watched the trailer. It looked like a low-budget B-level movie at best.
Still curious about it, but okay.
I'm just not a fan. Let's see. I was really disappointed that they didn't kill Chucky with fire.
They could not. So the deaths in this movie had to be different than the original because apparently... I think it was Universal or Warner Brothers. I don't remember. But the original company still retained the rights to those death scenes. So they did have to change them up.
I also wanted to ask you, why is the police officer in this movie at every single murder that happens in the entire city?
Quote you, movie magic.
Well, is he the only homicide detective available?
He's the only homicide detective I want in my life.
Well, I mean, just no other police officers work at all.
Movie magic, darling. Accept it, move on.
Just angered me.
Anything else you got?
I think that's basically it.
Okay, so the director on this was Lars Klevberg. I don't know how to say that. The other things he has directed were Polaroid and The Wall. So for me, he's an unknown. I've never seen anything by him. Have you ever seen any of those? No?
No.
The screenplay was by Tyler Burton Smith. This is actually his first movie to do a screenplay of. Prior to this, he's done video games. So I found that kind of interesting. But the most interesting thing is Bear McCreary is the person who did the soundtrack. And the soundtrack he partially created using toys, like a toy piano, an accordion, a plastic guitar. Like,
interesting.
Part of the soundtrack was that. And plus, that guy is beautiful to look at. I'm just letting you know. I Googled him. Like, I needed to know he has luscious, gorgeous long hair. Like, I will watch him play a plastic guitar any day of the week. Sign me up. So I just wanted to put that out there. He also scores The Walking Dead. Yeah, I wrote scores The Walking Dead, and he's not bad to look at. So
that's really, really good, darling.
Right. For some reason, underneath
we literally just got married.
Yeah, literally yesterday. Congrats to us. Underneath that, unrelated, I wrote Furby, ! Scary yard sale Furby. I don't know why I wrote that. I'm not really sure how it was related, but I did.
Well, the Furby that we sent to Lad Baby was terrifying.
Right, and it talked.
It did.
And yeah, so I don't
know why you wrote it down.
I was hoping to teach it to kill things. I don't know, but at the time it seemed like a thing to write.
It already knew, darling. Yeah, it already fully knew how to kill
If you guys are not following us on Twitter, you would have missed that. But if you are, you would have seen the really creepy Furby we found at a yard sale.
For $1.
Yeah, apparently this movie reminded me of that, and I can't tell you why. It's just here on my notes, so I'm just
creepy
letting you know.
animatronic doll?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
That's it? I mean...
you know what? I'm down for a Furby Chucky crossover. Yes. Down.
Where a possessed Furby takes on Chucky, like Godzilla versus Mothra.
Yes, I'm down. I am in. Okay, somebody make that. Sign me up. I'll write the screenplay.
Shut up and take my money.
Exactly. Yes, please.
All right.
Do you have a history minute?
I do have a history minute.
Tyler's History Minute.
So, this movie deals a lot with AI.
Does it now? Huh. I mean, I think this is the first time we've really mentioned it at all on the podcast.
So, AI is a fairly new concept. And do you know the way that they measure artificial intelligence? There's a test that has to pass. What?
I can't. I can't. It's a mean thing, and I can't. 90th percentile. I had to get it out.
All right. So it's called the Turing test, named after Alan Turing, who was one of the first people involved with making a functional computer.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a series of questions where it has to fool a human into thinking
that it's real.
It's a person, not a machine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know what year this stuff started? Because I want to bet with a lot of money that AI started before 1988, but I'm just curious if you ran across that in your travels.
1950.
Oh, gee, I must be wrong then, huh? Yet again. I just wanted you to say you're right. I just want to hear it.
Stop. Go to audience
happy
asks.
Life, happy
nope.
Life. Audience asks.
Audience asks.
Okay, so for audience asks, we didn't get a ton. I think it's because it's a newer movie. But I'm going to go first with Joshua Whitworth because he actually, when I asked for questions, went and watched the movie and then came back with his stuff.
Well,
so kudos to you.
Gold star, sir.
Yeah, seriously.
Gold star.
Best listener of the week. Can we give him that?
I think that's entirely fair.
Yes, of the week. Okay, so he doesn't give questions, but he gives like a bunch of topics to cover. So he says, I'm back with my verdict. I think a couple of topics that can be touched on from the film are AI and how it interacts with the world, which I think we touched on.
Yeah, it's terrifying and it's going to destroy humankind.
Okay, way to go dark. The capitalism and when to call a company a monopoly, which, finance man, I feel like you can touch on that.
Well, yeah, monopolies are just a company that owns everything.
I don't think he meant like...
And it's not a good thing because it drives down competition and then they get to charge whatever they want. So it screws the consumer in the end.
And I think obviously he's talking about...
Well, it's Caslin and how they are the most terrifying company in any kind of reality because they own actually everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's... Yeah.
And the guy... The founder of the company has the blue eyes and he's trying to get the sincerity across, but he just looks like he's going to kill you.
He's actually in other movies too, but
I only know him from The West Wing, if I want to be honest, but...
Yeah, the actor that plays him is Tim Matheson.
Yes, Tim Matheson. I only know him from The West Wing, but he has that look of, I'm going to kill you in his eyes.
He's in National Lampoon movies, so I feel like that's where I've known him from.
Probably there. Yeah.
But yeah, so and then the other thing he says, if you're looking specifically for film topics, then how it took no risks.
I think that's entirely fair. It seemed like it took the path of least resistance for the most of this movie.
See, I don't think it did. I feel like it did a good job of updating this movie in a way that was very relatable to a lot of people, and I think it was a risk to deviate away from the whole voodoo thing because that's what everybody has grown to love. And also continuing to call it Chucky, even though it has no relation to Charles Lee Ray anymore. I feel like those were risks because you've got a cult behind this movie.
I mean, that is entirely fair. This is a cult classic.
We've learned. You go against a cult classic, you get roasted.
Know. I've said things about cult classics, and I maintain those things as true.
Yes, but let's not rehash old wounds. Okay, and
I did have one thing. Tim Matheson was actually in a TV show with the original mom from the first Chucky.
Well then, look at all the loop-de-loops we do.
Yeah.
I like it. Thank you for sharing. Okay, and then we always do too. So Mr. Positivity, Wolfie T, he does a podcast called Watch This Movie. He also listens to us every week, and he's wonderful. He always tweets at us. Love him. I don't think we've mentioned him on the podcast before.
We have, but not often.
Not enough. So anyway, I wanted to do his, and he said, if you had a defective buddy doll like Chucky, what behaviors would it learn by observing your everyday life? I.e., would it turn into a killing machine like in the movie, or would it remain good? So I think we would have different answers.
I mean, my normal day would just be relaxing on the couch doing nothing, so he would...
Yours would become a couch potato.
Yeah, basically your stoner without the weed smoking.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that sounds about right. Mine would probably become basically my dog. So like a hyped up, Adderall-ridden...
Nervous wreck.
Yeah, basically. So murder, no. I don't think either one of us would have murder in our dolls.
I think your doll would entirely be capable of murder.
Yeah, probably. You know what? You're right. But that's what our dolls would be like.
Yeah.
So, basically. Anyway, so that's all I've got. So do we move into ratings?
Reviews.
I think that's it. So ratings. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 63%, and then 58% audience score.
Ooh.
So that's actually a little bit lower than what I was going to go, but I was going to give it like a 6.75.
Really? You didn't like it? Did you like it
really.
better or worse than the original?
I like the original more. The original is just a campier, fun version.
Okay.
I mean, I liked the cop in this movie better than the original, but
yes.
But it was the original is the original, and you can't argue with that.
Okay,
So.
I was going to give it an 8. I actually don't remember what I gave the original. I did like the original better, so obviously if I gave it lower, then I would have to adjust my scores. But regardless, I would give it an 8 because I feel like they did a really good job of updating to things that people would really relate to now. I thought that it was scary in its own right, like thinking about like replaying the cat sounds and things like that. And I thought the acting was really well done. So as long as you can separate it from its original and take it as its own movie, I feel like you can appreciate it. But if you are only going into this looking for a new Chucky that you've grown to love, then you're not going to like this movie because it's literally nothing like it.
Yeah. Other than the murderous doll.
Right. But other than that, like the story is just different. So take it as you will. But anyways, I think that's it for this week. We went way over time because we did a new movie and that's what happens. But
and we took 6 minutes to talk about the trailers.
Yeah. So minus 6 minutes from this and then we'll almost be on track. So anyways, next week's movie is your movie.
Next week's movie is my movie, and I decided to do Hacksaw Ridge, which is a fairly recent movie.
Fairly recent. I know we promised we weren't going to do any heavy movies. I have not seen this movie. Tyler promises me that it is not super heavy, so...
And it's not super heavy. It is a war movie, but it's a true story. It's a history movie, and we haven't done a history movie in a while, so...
Yeah, I mean, if you scroll back, you'll see it's only been a few weeks, but it's fine. And I promise you, my next pick is a kid's movie, so we will be into lightheartedness very soon. Bear with us. So that's it for me. If you guys want to reach out to us outside the podcast, at Cinematically C on Twitter is me. Blame Tyler CC is Tyler on Twitter. We're on Facebook at Cinematically Correct's listener group, Instagram at Cinematically C, and you can email us at cinematicallycorrect@gmail.com. Thank you to Jake at Athos Music for our intro and outro music, and we will be back next week with Hacksaw Ridge.